In the not-so-distant future, Earth transformed into a war-torn battleground, a haunting landscape filled with devastation and despair. The skies above were choked with the ominous silhouettes of alien ships, their sleek forms blotting out the sun and casting shadows over the cities below. These invaders, a technologically advanced race known as the Zari, believed themselves to be the pinnacle of evolution. They were powerful and unmatched, having spent centuries perfecting their civilization. From the dark corners of space, they had observed humanity, watching as people struggled to unite against various threats, believing it was only a matter of time before humans would cower before an overwhelming force. As the Zari launched their invasion, the earth trembled beneath the might of their weaponry. Cities crumbled into ruins under the onslaught of relentless bombardments, and the human population was thrown into chaos. Yet, amidst the destruction and despair, pockets of resistance began to take shape across the globe. Ordinary people who had never before considered themselves warriors rose up against their oppressors. Teachers, scientists, families, and children banded together, their spirits ignited by a deep-rooted desire for survival and freedom. They gathered in underground bunkers and makeshift command centers, armed with little more than sheer determination and scraps of technology they had salvaged from the wreckage of their former lives. In a hidden base deep within the Rocky Mountains, a group of engineers and scientists worked tirelessly to find a way to counter the alien threat. Among them was Dr. Elena Torres, a brilliant astrophysicist whose dreams of exploring the cosmos had been shattered by the harsh realities of war. Once captivated by the wonders of the universe, Elena now focused solely on one mission: developing a weapon that could turn the tide of battle in humanity's favor. Her team consisted of the brightest minds and bravest hearts, all united by a shared goal: survival. They recognized that traditional warfare was futile against such an advanced enemy. They needed a new strategy, one that would exploit the Zari's technological vulnerabilities. One evening, as the flickering lights of the command center illuminated their anxious faces, Elena proposed a radical idea. "We need to harness the energy of the ionosphere," she declared, her eyes sparkling with the excitement of possibility. "If we can create a resonance wave, it could disrupt their ship systems. We can't fight them in a conventional way, but we can use their technology against them." Her words ignited a fire in the hearts of her team, fueling their determination to succeed. They worked day and night, driven by an unyielding sense of purpose, their minds racing with the possibilities that lay ahead. Meanwhile, outside the mountains, the Zari pressed their advantage, their forces sweeping through urban areas with ruthless efficiency. Confident in their superiority, the invaders dismissed the notion that any significant resistance could form against them. They celebrated small victories, convinced that they had all but crushed the human spirit. However, unbeknownst to the Zari, as they reveled in their triumphs, the humans were gathering strength. With each passing day, more people joined the resistance, spurred by tales of bravery and sacrifice that spread like wildfire. Hope blossomed in the hearts of those who had once felt powerless, transforming them into an unbreakable force determined to reclaim their planet. Weeks turned into a blur of frantic activity as the resistance made tangible progress. Utilizing guerrilla tactics, they disrupted supply lines and sabotaged Zari technology. The invaders, who had expected the humans to flee in terror, instead found themselves facing a tenacious foe who refused to back down. The resilience of the human spirit began to chip away at the Zari's arrogance, causing confusion and frustration within their ranks. Reports of human acts of valor and cunning began to circulate among the Zari troops, sowing seeds of doubt about their supposed superiority. One fateful day, the team in the mountains completed their prototype, a device that could potentially alter the course of the war. Elena stood before her assembled group, her heart pounding with a mixture of hope and trepidation. "This is our chance," she said, her voice steady yet filled with emotion. "We launched this prototype at their command ship during their next attack. We can disrupt their systems and turn the tide of battle in our favor." The room buzzed with anticipation, each member of the team fully aware of the gravity of what lay ahead. They were on the precipice of a monumental shift, a turning point that could either lead to their triumph or to utter failure. As the days progressed, Elena and her team worked tirelessly, refining the device and preparing for its deployment. They trained volunteers from the resistance, teaching them how to operate the device and execute the plan. These volunteers were not seasoned soldiers. They were everyday people who had stepped up to fight for their homes and families. Their courage inspired the scientists, and the bond that formed among them grew stronger with each passing hour. The air was thick with determination as they rehearsed their maneuvers, knowing that the fate of their planet rested upon their shoulders. The day of the assault arrived, and the atmosphere was electric with anticipation. The resistance fighters took their positions, ready to execute the plan they had rehearsed so meticulously. In the distance, the massive Zari command ship loomed ominously, a reminder of the overwhelming odds they faced. The alien vessels moved with a confidence born from years of conquest, but the humans were ready to prove that they were not to be underestimated. As the first waves of Zari ships descended upon the Earth's surface, the resistance fighters activated their prototype. A surge of energy rippled through the atmosphere, causing a brilliant pulse of light to erupt from the device. The resonance wave surged toward the Zari command ship, striking it with unrelenting force. The massive vessel shuddered and faltered, its systems malfunctioning as the humans unleashed their technological ingenuity. As chaos erupted on the command ship, the Zari forces were thrown into disarray, their confidence shattered by the unexpected turn of events. Elena watched from her vantage point in the mountains, her heart racing as the device worked its magic. Cheers erupted among the resistance fighters as they saw Zari ships spiraling out of control, crashing into one another and plummeting to the ground. For the first time since the invasion began, a glimmer of hope ignited in their hearts. The Zari had underestimated humanity, and now they were paying the price for their arrogance. As the battle raged on, the tide of the war shifted dramatically. The once overwhelming Zari forces found themselves outmaneuvered and outmatched. The humans, fueled by the knowledge that they could turn the tide, fought with renewed vigor and determination. With each passing moment, the Zari suffered losses that would have once been unimaginable. Elena and her team continued to monitor the situation, providing guidance and support to the resistance fighters as they pressed the advantage. The atmosphere crackled with energy, and the fight for survival had transformed into a fight for freedom. The stories of bravery and resilience spread like wildfire, inspiring even more people to join the fight. No longer were they merely surviving, they were reclaiming their world. As the sun began to set on the battlefield, casting a golden hue over the chaos, the Zari forces were finally pushed back. The command ship, now crippled, retreated into the depths of space, its once proud presence diminished by the unwavering spirit of humanity. The resistance fighters, weary yet triumphant, raised their voices in celebration as they witnessed their newfound strength against their oppressors. The victory was not merely a moment of reprieve, it marked a profound shift in the balance of power. The Zari had learned a valuable lesson that day: humanity was not to be underestimated. What had begun as a struggle for survival had transformed into a movement of liberation, igniting a fire within the hearts of those who had once felt powerless. Elena Torres and her team had unlocked the potential of humanity, showcasing their capacity for ingenuity and resilience in the face of insurmountable odds. In the days that followed, the resistance continued to build upon their victory. They strengthened their alliances and fortified their defenses, preparing for the inevitable return of the Zari. But this time they stood united, emboldened by their newfound strength and resolve. The spirit of defiance surged through the ranks, and as they looked to the stars, they no longer saw themselves as victims but as warriors ready to reclaim their place in the galaxy. Elena's dream of exploring the cosmos had transformed into a dream of liberation, a belief that humanity could rise from the ashes of despair and reclaim their destiny. The battle for Earth was just the beginning of a new chapter, one that would be written in the annals of history as the moment when humanity refused to bow to tyranny. With each passing day they would continue to fight, driven by a vision of a future where they could not only survive but thrive among the stars. And as the echoes of their resistance resonated throughout the galaxy, they would forge a legacy that would inspire generations to come, a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity. As the remnants of the Zari forces retreated into the void of space, the human resistance took a moment to breathe. The initial euphoria of victory began to settle, replaced by a solemn realization of the costs they had incurred. The battle had been fierce and lives had been lost. Friends, family members, and countless civilians had sacrificed everything for this moment. Dr. Elena Torres and her team stood in the makeshift command center, processing the magnitude of their achievement while grappling with the weight of the sacrifices made. In the weeks that followed, they held memorials for those who had fallen, honoring their bravery and ensuring that their memories would be etched into the fabric of humanity's newfound resolve. The scars of war would remain, but they would serve as a constant reminder of the price of freedom. In the wake of their victory, the resistance began to coalesce into a more structured force. Under the leadership of determined individuals who had emerged during the chaos, they established a unified command, strategizing not only for the defense of Earth but also for the potential to reclaim territories lost to the Zari. Dr. Torres became a key figure in this new order, her scientific expertise guiding the development of advanced weaponry and defensive systems. The diverse skills of the resistance fighters, from engineers to strategists, were put to use as they worked together to harness the energy of the ionosphere, creating a network of resonance devices to be deployed across key locations. Their efforts were bolstered by a steady influx of new recruits, motivated by the tales of triumph and resilience that echoed throughout the surviving human settlements. As time passed, the atmosphere on Earth shifted from one of desperation to one of determination. The people began to rebuild their cities, transforming ruins into symbols of defiance and hope. Schools reopened, and children played in the streets again, their laughter a melody of life amid the remnants of destruction. Humanity had awakened to a new identity, one forged in the crucible of conflict. With each passing day, they honed their skills and solidified their strategies, preparing not only for potential retaliation from the Zari but also for a broader struggle that might extend beyond their own planet. Elena often found herself gazing up at the stars, reflecting on how far they had come. The vastness of space had once seemed a place of exploration and wonder, but now it loomed as a frontier of uncertainty. With each alien ship that had fallen from the sky, humanity's connection to the cosmos transformed. They were no longer mere inhabitants of Earth but guardians of their future. With the resistance solidifying and the prospect of liberation growing brighter, Elena felt an unwavering sense of hope. They would continue to fight not just for survival but for the right to thrive as a species in the universe. And as they prepared for whatever challenges lay ahead, they did so united, each heart and mind committed to the shared goal of freedom, ready to confront the stars. As dawn broke over the horizon, a palpable tension filled the air, thick with anticipation and the scent of determination. Dr. Elena Torres stood before the assembled resistance fighters at the designated launch site, her heart racing as she surveyed the faces of those who had gathered. They were a motley crew of ordinary individuals who had risen to become extraordinary defenders of Earth, a testament to the indomitable human spirit. The quiet before the storm seemed to stretch endlessly, a moment suspended in time. Finally, the silence shattered as Elena's voice rang out through the makeshift speakers, clear and resolute. "Today, we stand not as individuals but as a united front," she declared, her words igniting a fire in the hearts of those around her. "We fight not just for survival but for our future." Each fighter nodded, eyes reflecting a mix of hope and fierce determination. They had come together from all walks of life, teachers, engineers, scientists, and families, driven by a common purpose. This was the culmination of their efforts, the moment they had prepared for, where ingenuity would meet courage in a desperate bid to reclaim their planet from the Zari. With a synchronized breath, they launched the energy wave into the sky, a brilliant flash that momentarily illuminated the dawn. Time seemed to stand still, a brief pause that held the weight of their hopes and dreams. Then, with a pulse that resonated through the air, the wave surged toward the enemy. The first Zari ship was caught in its path. Its systems flickered, failed, and chaos erupted among the invaders. From the ground, the resistance fighters watched in disbelief and exhilaration as the tide of battle began to shift. Zari ships, once symbols of their technological supremacy, began to plummet from the sky, crashing down in a cacophony of destruction. Seizing the moment, the resistance fighters charged into the fray, their spirits unbroken and their resolve unyielding. Armed with makeshift weapons and whatever they could scrounge, they pushed forward, determined to exploit the opening provided by their unexpected success. The Zari, who had once been so confident in their dominance, now found themselves faltering, their calculations thrown into disarray by the fierce tenacity of the humans. Fueled by newfound strength and unity, the resistance fought back with a fervor that surprised even themselves. They were not just defending their home, they were reclaiming their destiny. High above the battlefield, aboard a distant command ship, Zari Commander Kathar watched in disbelief as the events unfolded. Anger and frustration twisted his features as he processed the chaos. "How can this be?" he exclaimed, struggling to reconcile his expectations with the reality before him. They were supposed to be weak. The realization of his grave miscalculation struck hard. An officer at his side, sensing the urgency of the situation, nervously interjected, "Commander, they have adapted. Their resolve is stronger than we anticipated." Cathar's mind raced, grappling with the implications of this newfound human tenacity. He had underestimated the strength of a united human spirit, a mistake that would cost his people dearly. Desperation began to creep into Cathar's voice as he ordered a retreat, but for the Zari, it was already too late. The humans surged forward, emboldened by their success, their momentum unstoppable. Each fallen Zari ship fueled their determination, and as they fought back against the alien invaders, they found strength in one another. The air crackled with energy. The humans were no longer the frightened victims of an invasion. They were warriors, fierce and unwavering in their resolve to protect their planet. As the battle raged on, the tide turned irrevocably in favor of the resistance. The sound of gunfire, shouts, and the roar of collapsing ships filled the air, but amidst the chaos, there was a strange beauty, a testament to humanity's will to fight back. The battlefield became a tapestry of valor and sacrifice, a vivid reflection of their struggle. Each moment etched itself into the hearts of those present. They were not merely fighting for survival, they were igniting a fire that would burn long after the battle was over. In the aftermath of the conflict, as the dust settled and the echoes of battle faded, the world began to heal. The resistance had transformed into a united global force, a coalition of nations that had once fought among themselves now working together toward a common goal. The shared experience of struggle forged bonds that transcended borders and differences. Elena and her team became symbols of hope, their ingenuity and courage inspiring a new generation of fighters determined to defend their home. The scars of battle remained, but they served as a reminder of what had been fought for and what had been achieved. As Elena surveyed the remnants of their victory, she realized that the fight had never been solely against the Zari. It was a battle for the very soul of humanity. They had faced darkness and emerged stronger, proving to themselves and the universe that they would not run, that they would stand and fight for what was rightfully theirs. With the sun setting on the battlefield, casting a golden glow over the ruins, Elena and her fellow fighters reflected on their journey. They had taken the first step, a monumental leap toward reclaiming their rightful place among the stars. The Zari had thought they would cower, but instead the humans had risen, defiant and unyielding, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. In that moment they understood that they were not just warriors, they were pioneers of a new era, one where humanity could stand tall in the face of adversity, united in purpose and resolute in spirit. As they began to regroup, strategizing for the challenges yet to come, Elena felt a sense of pride swell within her. This was not merely about defeating an alien threat, it was about redefining humanity's narrative in the galaxy. The battle against the Zari had revealed their true nature, a species capable of resilience, creativity, and an unwavering spirit of cooperation. With their combined strengths, they could build a future where humanity thrived, not just on Earth but beyond, in the vast expanse of the universe. And as the night descended, bringing a blanket of stars over the battlefield, they looked to the skies with renewed hope. The Zari may have believed they were the pinnacle of evolution, but humanity had proven that it possessed something far more powerful, the ability to unite, to adapt, and to rise against all odds. In that moment they understood that their story was far from over, it was only just beginning, and they were ready to write the next chapter together. As the first stars twinkled above the recovering battlefield, a newfound camaraderie filled the air among the resistance fighters. They shared stories of bravery and loss, of moments that had defined them during the invasion. People who had once been strangers now stood shoulder to shoulder, bonded by the trials they had endured and the victories they had achieved together. In the flickering light of a small fire, Elena noticed a young woman, once a high school teacher, recounting how she had rallied her students and their families to fight back against the Zari. Her voice trembled with emotion, but the strength in her words resonated deeply with everyone present. It was in these stories of everyday heroism that the essence of humanity shone brightest, a collective spirit that refused to be extinguished, even in the face of overwhelming odds. In the days that followed, the atmosphere shifted as the world began to mobilize. Governments that had once squabbled over petty disputes recognized the urgent need for unity in the face of a common enemy. News outlets broadcasted images of the resistance's triumph, highlighting the ingenuity of Elena's team and the daring tactics employed by ordinary citizens. The narrative of human resilience began to spread across the globe, inspiring others to rise and join the fight. The Zari had underestimated humanity, believing that their advanced technology would render Earth defenseless. But now, with each passing day, more individuals joined the resistance, contributing skills, resources, and their unwavering resolve. The movement transformed from a fragmented rebellion into a coordinated effort, with nations coming together to share knowledge and technology, strengthening their defenses against future Zari incursions. Amidst this newfound hope and unity, Elena and her team began to strategize for what lay ahead. They understood that the Zari would not take their defeat lightly, they would regroup, reassess, and likely return with a vengeance. Thus, they turned their focus not just on defense but on creating a lasting framework for cooperation and innovation among the nations of Earth. With every scientist, engineer, and strategist working together, they crafted plans for enhanced weaponry, improved communication systems, and advanced training programs for resistance fighters. This wasn't just about preparing for the next battle. It was about establishing a legacy of collaboration and resilience that would fortify humanity against any future threats. As Elena looked around at her diverse team, each face marked by determination and hope, she realized that they were no longer merely survivors of an invasion. They were pioneers of a new era, ready to carve out a future where humanity stood united, prepared to face whatever challenges the universe had in store. As the rebuilding process began in earnest, the scars of the invasion remained etched in the landscape and the hearts of the people. Entire neighborhoods lay in ruins, reminders of the fierce battles fought for their survival. However, amidst the debris, a spirit of renewal emerged. Communities banded together to clear the rubble and begin the arduous task of reconstruction. Neighbors who had once been divided by politics or social status now worked side by side, united in their common goal of restoring their homes and lives. Local leaders emerged, driven by a shared vision of a future that would be different from the past. They organized initiatives that encouraged participation from all sectors of society, fostering a sense of ownership and pride in the collective recovery effort. Education quickly became a cornerstone of this new society. Schools reopened, but with a renewed focus on critical thinking, creativity, and collaboration, skills deemed essential in a world where threats could emerge from the stars at any moment. Dr. Elena Torres was invited to speak at several educational institutions, where she shared her experiences and insights about the invasion and the pivotal role of science and technology in the resistance. Her message resonated deeply with students and teachers alike, igniting a passion for exploration and innovation. In her speeches, she emphasized that the future belonged to those who dared to dream and take risks. As young minds soaked up her words, they envisioned a brighter tomorrow, one where they could harness their talents to defend their planet and perhaps even reach for the stars. Meanwhile, international relations began to shift dramatically as well. Former rivals found common ground in their shared experiences of loss and victory. Diplomatic talks flourished, leading to treaties focused not only on defense but also on the exchange of knowledge and resources. A new organization, the Coalition of United Earth, was established, uniting nations under a common banner to ensure that humanity would never again be caught off guard. The coalition worked diligently to develop a comprehensive strategy for planetary defense and interstellar exploration, aiming to prevent future invasions by forging alliances and sharing intelligence. As the coalition's influence grew, humanity's reputation began to change throughout the galaxy. Once perceived as a primitive and disorganized species, humans were now recognized as a formidable force capable of resilience and unity. They were no longer just survivors of a brutal conflict. They were shaping a narrative that would resonate through time, proving that even in the darkest hours, the spirit of humanity could shine brightly.